Okay, Bruce, what's it like to be a pilot?
Well, I'm biased. I'm going to tell you it's great. I had my experience with aeroplanes goes to when I was 5 years old, and I saw all kinds of heavy iron being flown around, Cold War jets and things like that. And my godfather, who took me to air displays, was in the RAF and loved it. So I was brought up with aeroplanes. I always thought that I wouldn't be able to be a pilot because, frankly, I was pretty awful at school at maths and physics. I mean, I got O-level maths, skin of my teeth, and went to university and stuff like that. But I didn't actually start flying airplanes until quite late on in life, so 20 years ago. And when I did, I was like, my God, why didn't I do this all those years ago? And a little Cessna flying around over Florida, and honestly, it was like the universe had opened up in 3 dimensions. I couldn't believe it. I was speechless. It was like a never-ending story in all directions at the same time, internally, externally. I thought, wow, there's no ending and no beginning to this experience. You can never know all the answers, and that really appealed to me. Anyway, fast forward, flying one of these, and I never forget the first day that I showed up for work. You know, I mean, passed all my exams and everything else and blah, blah, blah. And I turned up and it was about 5 in the morning and it was cold and frosty. And most people would be, you know, bitching and moaning about getting out of bed. And this big shiny jet was stood there dripping in de-ice fluid. And I was like, it's mine. They've lent it to me for the day. All I have to do is give it them back in one piece, you know. And I never ever lose that thrill of turning up to work, even at ungodly hours of the morning. You just get there and there's the big jet. You think, yeah, you know, where else could you get that sort of experience?
But what does it take to get to that situation?
Becoming a pilot, well, I have to say, there are numerous hurdles. As one of my instructors put it to me, he said, when I started my, whatever it was, 12 hours or 14 hours for one of the licenses, or commercial license or something, he said, do you enjoy flying? I said, I love flying. He said, right. He said, that stops today. and I went, oh. And of course he was joking, but he was only half joking, because it's learning to fly and learning to pass all the exams and the tests is a very serious business. You know, and you do have a lot of fun on the way, but it is hard. It is hard. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. You really don't. Although being a rocket scientist, there are plenty of rocket scientists who are flying, but you have to be determined, and you have to be reasonably intelligent. But you don't have to be, you know, Mensa or anything daft like that. But you do have to be determined, and you have to be able to add up.
So what are the sort of basic qualifications do you need? O-levels, A-levels, degree?
Honestly, if you're reasonably intelligent, you've got some kind of mechanical aptitude. In other words, you know, you're interested in engines and motors and how things work, and you can understand systems and things like that. And yeah, if you've got 5 O-levels, there's no earthly reason why you can't be a pilot. Simple determination. I mean, if you look at the qualifications that the RAF require for being a fast jet pilot, people assume that you need to have some degree or PhD or something else like that. A lot of pilots do, but the actual requirements are 5 GCSE O-levels to become a fast jet pilot in the RAF. You turn up, if you pass the selection, they'll teach you everything you need to know. And they're very good teachers, I have to say, having had some of them teach me. And it's the same thing for airline pilots. If you really want to be an airline pilot and you have the potential for the right stuff, there are plenty of people out there willing and able to teach you if you're prepared to listen and learn.
That's the science. What about the personality that's required?
You have to have, if you want to become an airline pilot, well, any kind of pilot really, but particularly airline pilot, because it is a long process. You are checked and rechecked and tested at so many different stages. When you have gone through all these stages, you suddenly realise that you don't even have a job at the end of it. Now you've got to go and try and get a job. So determination is one big part of it as a personality trait. You've got to be determined. Hand in hand with determination is you've got to have a sense of humour, because you'll rapidly go into a tailspin on the ground if you don't have a sense of humour in this game. You've got to be somebody who you would like to sit next door to for 7 hours at a time, and then go and spend another couple of days in a hotel with them, and then at some awful hour in the morning when you're jet lagged and a bit disorientated, jump in and sit in the seat with them for another 7 hours with them, and not get grumpy and not get, you know, cheesed off with them. You've got to be a people person, really, to be a pilot. Ideally, you've got to, you know, a little bit mission orientated, goal orientated, yeah, but not too much. A pilot should be a, you know, reasonably well-rounded, fairly friendly extrovert, but not off the Richter scale in any one particular personality trait.